Okay, good morning and welcome to the last webinar for informing you about the second year universities you can choose from. So today we have GMIT on our list. And so, Connor, the local coordinator at GMIT in Ireland, will first give a short presentation on what you can expect if you go to Galway. And then after that, you can post questions, which we will try to answer. So for posting questions, please use the chat box, which is on the left-hand side, the right-hand side of the YouTube screen. You have to log in with your IMBRSea email account in order to be able to post questions there. So very important, please log in while you're watching, and then you can post questions there. During the presentation, you can already post questions as well, so we can smoothly answer them afterwards. So after this webinar, which is live, we will also post it immediately on the YouTube channel so you can watch it afterwards as well. So Ian, you have the floor now, and then afterwards we answer questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Tim, and good morning, everybody. And my apologies for the slight time zone delay in Galway. We've got our times confused between Tim and I. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Galway, a little bit about GMIT and some of the modules that we do here. And then, as Tim says at the end, you have a chance to ask me any questions if you want to. The IMBRSea takes place in GMIT in Galway City. We have 5 campuses, but the IMBRSea subjects are taught on the main campus. Well, they don't like to call it the main campus, but on the Dublin Road campus, which is the headquarters of GMIT, on the eastern side of the city. There are other campuses in the city, and there are a few in the county. But mainly, all the courses for IMBRSea take place in Galway City at the GMIT campus on the Dublin Road. Galway is a small regional city in the west coast of Ireland. Population, I suppose, between 85,000 euros. A lot of students, so between ourselves and NUIG in Galway, about 25,000 students. And in the summer months, of course, population goes up with tourists, and in the winter months, then during term time, the population goes up with an influx of students. It's a very student-friendly city, but in common with many student-friendly cities across Europe, housing can be an issue. Approximately 25% of the population are college students, and accordingly, because of that, I suppose there's a wide and range of entertainment choices that are directed towards the students within the city during term time. It's a small, I suppose, medieval city, and narrow streets, things like that, but there's a variety of cultural and artistic groups and artistic organizations within the city that lead to quite a vibrant sense of community within Galway City that's very, very student friendly. You're certainly not going to come to Galway for the weather. From September, October to December, Galway will be cold, it will be wet, and it will be windy. And you can see some information there on the mean temperatures, average high and low, and the rainfall. Certainly, we can get pleasant Septembers, but October, November, December, even at the moment, for example, today now, it's quite wet and windy, and we had a very bad storm in the last few days. So if you are going to come to Galway, we will, of course, make you welcome, but don't be knocking on my door complaining about the weather. We told you before you got here. As an example, you can see some of the large low-pressure systems that come in across the Atlantic and hammer us from sort of October onwards every year. Getting here, I suppose the main airport in Ireland is in Dublin Airport, but there are smaller airports in Shannon and Cork. Most people would use Dublin Airport, I suppose. There are direct bus links from outside Dublin Airport straight to Galway City. There's a variety of bus companies, CityLink, GoBus, and the national state public transport company, Bus Éireann, also serves that route. There are rail links, but you'd have to get a bus into town and then into Dublin City, excuse me, from the airport, and then get a train down. But the direct bus links are quite good. Shannon Airport, again, direct bus links. Shannon Airport's maybe 90 kilometers from the city, 85 kilometers from the city. And there are less frequent bus links, but there are certainly bus links from Shannon Airport. But Shannon Airport is served by a lower number of airlines than Dublin would be. And likewise, Cork's a bit further away, but there are also bus routes from Cork Airport to Galway. For those of you that want to come by ferry, and some students do, certainly they bring their car with them and they can travel by ferry. A range of options available from the UK and from France and from northern Spain. And you can see them there in the you'll be able to find the directferry.ie or something like that will provide you with further details of ferry journeys to and from Ireland. Within GMIT then itself, I suppose a little bit about that. The pastoral services within the college, so student services, provide a range of medical and pastoral and psychological counselling services, but also the Students' Union is a direct organisation within the university college that is aimed towards meeting the needs of students, everything from sort of accommodation, advice, clubs and societies, welfare, liaison with the college, things like that. And they have their own website, gmitsu.ie. They have their own Facebook page, Twitter account, and they have a range of professional and unpaid staff that deal with the various aspects of student life within GMIT. The student services then are all professional staff employed by the college that deal with counselling, student health unit, accommodation, the careers office, and they provide a range of services, and they're within the Dublin Road campus. They're based there and they're quite easy to access. IMBRSea then in GMIT, as I said at the start, all the courses take place at Galway City campus. The semester for the following year, I suppose, that should say 2019. Shouldn't it? I'm gone mad. Excuse me. Sorry about that. September to December 2019 will commence on the 9th of September 2019, not 2018, sorry, and will finish on the 6th of December 2019. There's one public holiday during that semester on the 29th of October. In Ireland, demand for the students' housing will commence from about August when students receive offers from colleges. So school leaving students will get their results in early August, and they'll have a good idea about what college or what city they're going to end up in, and they'll start to look for houses from about August onwards. I suppose a good source of information on housing may be the current year 2 students that are within GMIT that have just left to go on thesis, although some are staying for thesis. The cost of living in Galway, private rental in cities with colleges, as I said, is expensive. Rent from $350 to $500 per month, depending on the location within the city, whether you're sharing. And then electricity, recycling, etc., will cost extra. Electricity is, for example, about 18 cents per kilowatt hour. Milk, 150 to 180 to €2 per 2 litres of milk. Tobacco, very expensive in Ireland, heavily taxed, €13 for 20 cigarettes. And a pint of beer, €4 to €5 in some pubs. Obviously, you can get it for less in supermarkets. Not that we would condone such behaviour. But that's about the price of cigarettes and alcohol in Ireland. Getting around the city then, bike hire, as a student, you can rent bikes for 3 months for €75, 4 months for €99. There are other bike availabilities. There's a city bike scheme as well. Monthly bus ticket then, I think with the student rate is about €59, 50 cents, maybe €60. And then a pay per trip between sort of $2.10 and $2.40 a flat rate, and you get what's called a leap card. You can get in the Students' Union shop or other shops where you can put credit on it for your public transport. Within GMIT, I suppose most of the lectures, the framework for which we contribute to IMBRSea, the modules that we teach, the themes that we teach on, are all based around the kind of work that we do within the Marine and Freshwater Research Centre, which I'm speaking to you from today. We've approximately about 30 PhD students within the centre, 10 or 11 postdoctoral staff, and 15 academic staff, and a diverse range of research, quantitative ecology, fisheries, fish stock assessment, developing methods for fish stock assessment. A lot of that feeds into the management theme. Marine megafauna ecology and biology, principally seabirds and marine mammals, feeds into the conservation theme. Bioacoustics, we have a large body of work being done under bioacoustics, using acoustic devices for marine mammals, using acoustic devices for conservation, for vertebrates and invertebrates, such as fish and freshwater habitats. Behavior as a conservation tool. So we have one of our own masters in conservation behavior. So understanding an organism's behavior and how that can contribute towards conservation action plans or conservation management activities for that particular species. We would have another large body of research in marine litter, macro litter and micro litter. And then within fish health and aquatic animal health, we'd have people working on fish diseases in salmon and lumpsuckers and crabs, lobsters, and their immune response to those diseases and other challenges that those organisms face. So in semester 3 of the degree, so when you come to GMIT in September next year, we have 2 themes, management and conservation. And there isn't any subject overlap between the two themes. There's no shared modules between the themes. They're quite distinct, and if that's appropriate, that if you've made the decision to follow the management stream, then you will take management type subjects. If you've made the decision to follow the conservation stream, then or theme, then you'll be undertaking conservation related subjects. Under management, we have 4 modules, 3 5-credit modules and 1 3-credit module, which you obviously can see from the plan of the program on the IMBRSea website. Secondary impacts of harvest on wild populations and ecosystems. That's currently taught by Colleen Minto and Katie Dwyer. And they look at a population response to harvest and to exploitation, and how populations may respond to these, and the underlying theory, I suppose, behind that. And it's taught in a sort of an applied sense, in terms of there's a sort of role play case study approach to that module. Life history, strategies and trade-offs. This was the first year of the new program that we offered this module. It's taught by a range of us, Colleen Minto, myself, Katie Dwyer and Luca Millen. And we cover everything from genetics and the evolution of life histories to applying what we know about life histories and the trade-offs that species make, and how we can use that in a management context, I suppose. Statistical analysis and population ecology, extremely popular module, taught by Colleen Minto, consistently gets very, very high ratings from students that undertake that module. Colleen's got I suppose a powerhouse of statistical ecology, and he has been teaching this module for many years now, and he is always very popular with the students. And an ecology of top predators in marine systems, that's taught by myself and Simon Barrow and Sinead Murphy. And we look at, Sinead and Simon look at the mammals, and I work on the ecology of birds in marine systems. Then the conservation theme has obviously, again, 4 modules, 3 5-credits and 1 3-credit module. Animal behavior recording and analysis is the application, I suppose, of studying animal behavior. So the technical approaches to it, but also how we can use animal behavior in a conservation setting. GIS, the application of GIS to marine conservation. I teach that module. Joanne O'Brien and Martin Gamble teach the animal behavior module, and they tend to use 2 model species. They use hermit crabs and they use harbor seals as their model species for that module. And then acoustic monitoring is a marine conservation tool. That's taught by Joanne O'Brien, using a variety of static and towed passive acoustic devices for the conservation, principally for marine mammals, but there may be some aspects of it that will cover fish as well. And then finally, seabird and marine mammal population assessment techniques. That's taught by myself and Simon Barrow. Simon looks after the marine mammal population assessment techniques, double platform, single platform marine mammal surveys, things like that. And I look after the seabird population assessment techniques. So I suppose traditional approaches to seabird population assessment at sea. So at sea seabird surveys, the methods that we use for that, but then integrating new approaches and new technological approaches to assessing, for example, colony breeding seabirds and the populations when they're on the colonies. So using things like UAVs and image analysis to determine the number of animals there. So that's it. That's all I have to say about GMIT. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And back to you, Tim.
Okay, thanks for the intro. I'm going to look at the chat box. 5 students are watching at the moment. So if you have any questions, please write them in the chat box. I will post a message as well. Might be a short delay on the YouTube channel. No questions are coming up in the next 2 minutes. I think things are extremely clear.
I've scared them all away.
Yeah. Yeah. The first question: are there any scholarships we can apply for that semester?
Well, depending on what university you're coming from, I suppose you can apply for Erasmus Mobility. Many of the students would apply for Erasmus Mobility from their sending university to come to GMIT, and when you get here, we complete the paperwork, etc., and complete the learning agreements, anything that needs to be done, and send them back. So certainly we have Erasmus Mobility scholarships that people would apply for, and then some people would be getting scholarships from their local government where they're from. So for example, in Germany or in Spain, etc., sometimes they're getting additional scholarships, and again, we would facilitate completing any paperwork required for that.
Yeah, that's indeed true. I can confirm that. So that at your starting university, depending, as mentioned already several times, depending on the local university rules, you can apply for Erasmus Mobility grant. And then, yeah, of course, it depends on what regulations are. And then, but we had in the previous years always people that when going to GMIT that got Erasmus Mobility grants. Yeah. More questions? I'll just so within the next 2 minutes, there is no questions. I think we can stop the video here.
Yeah.
And Ian, as well, his details are on the IMBRSea website. So if you go to the partners, contacts per partner, then you can find the email address right there. And so sometimes for if you have specific questions that you don't know how to deal with, then another option is that during the management board meeting, that there is a general concern, that you post it via the student representatives that are present.
That's on Thursday, isn't it?
That's on Thursday, yeah. Okay, I don't see any more questions coming in, so I suppose that we can end the broadcast now. So thank you for those that were watching. Thank you for watching, and thanks Ian for the presentation.
Not at all.
Very clear. Yeah.